Hello students, welcome to the session. So all these days in the previous class we were doing with the writing part. So today we will move on to the textual flamingo, and till date we have completed 3 chapters, and today we will go with the 4th chapter, the rat trap. So well students, as you all are or might be aware of, the title of this chapter, that is rat trap. It's nothing new, but it has got a very hidden meaning in this chapter, and the writer has used it as a metaphor. So now before going to the chapter, let's go with the writer. So now the students, on your screen you can see about the author. So the author here is Selma Lagerlöf. He is a Swedish writer whose stories have been translated into many languages, and in all his stories a universal theme that runs through, that is a belief that the essential goodness in human being can be awakened through understanding and love. So that means what? So nobody by birth is a bad person. It is the circumstance or the situation which makes the person so. But once again, little bit love and little bit understanding can change the person. And this is what we see in this chapter, the rat trap. So now students, about the title. On the screen you can see a small the picture of a rat trap, and what is the speciality? That is this the rat trap itself, it means that it is to catch the rat, but what is the thing which is kept inside? That matters a lot, and that is called the bait which attract the rats. So just now as I told you that the title itself is a metaphor to highlight the human predicaments. Just as the rat is fooled by a bait and gets trapped, most human beings are likely to fall into the trap of material benefits. That is the material world. Because in this world, in order to outdo oneself, or in order to prove oneself better than the others, what we do, we are just running after the materialistic world, just to fulfill all the desires and all, whether it is the riches, the joys, or all the pleasure. So our aim is to outdo others. So by doing so, what the writer says, that we are being caught in the trap of the world. That's what we see in this chapter. So now about the setting. On the screen now you can see that this story is set amidst the mines of Sweden, rich in iron ore, which figure large in the history of the country. The story is told somewhat in the manner of a fairy tale. So that's why students, when you just have a look at your textbook, the very first sentence, once upon a time, like that it is written. So it means what? The story, it is told in the form of a fairy tale. And now what are the main characters? Now you can just have a look on the screen. So here the main character is the first one, the peddler. He is the rat trap seller with its rat traps. Next, a crofter, an old man. Then master smith in Ramsjö iron mill in Sweden, and helpers in the mill, blacksmiths, and the iron mill owner, and finally Edla Wilmanson, the daughter of iron mill owner. And in the story, you will see that this Edla means she also plays a great role, and she is the one person who just intercedes between her father and the rat trap seller. And as a girl, she has got much more convincing power than her father. So in the story, when you just read your textbook, because here we are not means reading the text, but in a detailed way, the entire chapter is being captured. But the students, after hearing this chapter, you just go through your textbook very minutely. So that time you will come to know about how Edla intercedes for a stranger, that is a rat trap seller. So now students, that is all just the general introduction, or the means about the setting, about what the title says, and about the author. So now we will go for the main concept or the main content of the chapter. So for your understanding, I have just a small in a synopsis I have just made. You just have a look at the synopsis. So the very first one I have written, that is the rat trap seller. So as the story begins like a fairy tale and all, so what the writer says, that this rat trap seller, he used to make his living by selling the rat traps, and in order to make the rat traps, he used to just walk along the road or beg in the big farms or in some other stores and all, by which he made means the small rat traps. But this the rat trap, it was not, or this business was not that much profitable for him. So in order to make both the ends meet, so sometimes he also indulged in stealing, or sometimes he just went on the road just begging for the wires and other materials which is required to make the rat trap. But by doing all these things also, his living condition or his lifestyle, that did not change, and he just remained very poor. And that is very much very clearly it is presented in your textbook, that he was wearing the torn shirts and all, and how he is the sunken the cheeks. So all that shows that he was a man who is malnourished. So the second concept now, that is about his philosophy. So what is his philosophy? We will just move into the textbook. So his philosophy is that, as just now as I told you, that this man, he just walks along the road all alone selling the rat trap and all. So one day, as when he was with heavy steps, as he was walking along the roadside just with his rat trap and all, and he also know that in this such a big world, nobody was ever pleasant or kind to him. So what he did, he was just lost in his own thoughts, and all of a sudden a series of thought, or some idea struck his mind. So what is that idea? And whenever he thought about that idea, he felt somewhat happy. So what is that? The main idea that struck him when he was just walking along the road, that is, according to him, the whole world, that seems to be a rat trap, a big trap. And what is that? And what are all the riches, or that is the materialistic world in which we human beings live? It just offers us riches, joys, shelter, food, and all this thing is what? We are just running after all these things. Why we are working very hard, or why we are in search of some or the other job? Just to raise the living condition, just to lead a better life, and just to enjoy our life. So all these things, according to the rat trap, the seller, he says that this thing is nothing but a bait. Bait, you understand? That is the food, which is kept inside the rat trap in order to attract it. So he says that for human beings, all the riches of the materialistic world, it is nothing. It is simply as a bait. And and he feels that if any person, if he is tempted, that means what? He is trapped in that is the trap of the world. So as he was thinking about all those things, and he was just walking and moving along. So he also knew that as the world was not kind to him. So that's why, he always thought ill about others. And moreover, with the passage of the time, it becomes his favorite pastime, because whenever he was walking, and as his life was a very monotonous one, so whenever he thought about all these things, or the people, those who are caught inside the rat trap, he used to feel happy, with the sense that he is not the one among them. And he feels also happy to know that so many people are already caught inside the trap, and few people are circling around the trap. But he is still now, he is safe, he is not one among them. So just by thinking all these things, this rat trap seller, he just moved on and on. So now students, on the screen you can see that the next point I just made for you is that the simplicity of the old man who gave shelter to the rat trap seller. So now, as a rat trap seller is a homeless wanderer, so at the end of the day, whatever or means the place comes, he used to take shelter over there. So one day it so happened that the rat trap seller, he was at the edge of the road, and by the side of the road, one old man's house was there. And though he knew that the world was not pleasant to him, people won't greet him, but then also he just knocked at the door. So when he knocked the door, one old man, he just came out, and later on in the story you will come to know that he was the crofter. And this man, beyond his expectation, he just greeted him. He was very happy to have a guest in his house, because he too was all alone, and has means he doesn't have either his wife or children. So that's why he felt very happy to have a company. So when this the rat trap seller came to his house, he just gave him the porridge which he had prepared for him. Half of the porridge he just gave to him, and just they enjoyed the supper. And finally, after enjoying the dinner, he also gave him the tobacco roll. So this crofter, he just had a single piece of tobacco roll. He just cut it into two halves, and one was given to the rat trap seller, and one he just enjoyed it. So when these people, they not only enjoy just the cigar or the tobacco roll, they also played mijolis. So mijolis, it is a game which is played in Sweden, similar to that of the card games. So for the night, they just enjoyed the tobacco roll, and they were playing the game, that is mijolis. So while they just interacted with one another, and as far as the crofter is concerned, he was a very simple man, a very generous and very hospitable man. That's why he gave shelter to a stranger in his house, and that too in the odd hours. So now as they were interacting with one another, so the crofter, he just told him about his past. He told him that previously he was a crofter, so that means he just worked crofter, that means who worked in the rented farm. And in those days, that the farm, it was one of the prosperous the farm, and he too was quite a rich man at that time. But now he is old, due to old age, he was not able to do his work. And now the one and the only the thing that supported him was his cow, and he used to sell the milk of the cow in the creamery, and he earned the money. And he also told him that he had, just by selling the milk, he just had some 30 kronor note. So kronor, it is a Swedish currency. So when he just told him that yes, he had got the 30 kronor note, so by his facial expression, the crofter understood that the rat trap seller, he was not believing that such an old man, and just by the selling the milk, how is possible that he might have that is the 30 kronor notes. So in order to the convince or to make him sure that he is having some 30 kroner note, what he did was that he just went to the side by one window was there. So from there he took the pouch, and inside the pouch he just told him that, or he just showed him the 30 kroner note. So after showing him the 30 kroner note, he kept it in the same place, and later on it was a night hour. In the next morning both of them got up in a pleasant season. And as far as the crofter is concerned, his life schedule was little bit busy, because during the morning hours he was supposed to milk the cow and used to send it to the creamery and all. So that's why what this the rat trap seller thought that when this the owner of this house, when he is out, so it is not fair on his part to lie on the bed. So he too got up, and after some time both of them, they just left the place. Means in a very happy mood, they bade goodbye and went in their own way. But what this rat trap seller did, he just within half an hour, the rat trap seller, he once again came to the crofter's house. And now what he did, he just broke the window pane, and from there he just took out the pouch, and he stolen the 30 kroner note. So that means what? This 30 kroner note, it acted as a bait for the rat trap seller, because it is a bait, it is a money which just attracted him, and he stolen the money, and he, after some time, he left the place. So now the students, now the story proceeds to the other side. So now on the screen you can see that how the rat trap seller loses his way. So now the rat trap seller, after stealing that amount, he thought that he has done a big job, and he also thought that it is not safe on his part to move along the main road. So he selected the wood. Wood means forest, and in the forest he just walked and walked. He just walked endlessly, and finally, at the end of the day, he found himself in the same place. He tried his best to find the way to the main road, but he was not able to get the road. And at this time he felt very tired, and he realizes that this time he realized that yes, he had been caught in the rat trap. And according to him, the big forest with all its thickets, that is the trunks and the branches, it acted as a rat trap, and from which it was impossible for him to come out. So he was very tired, he was hopeless, and he was helpless. And moreover, it was the month of the December, so naturally night comes bit earlier. So with the approach of the night, the danger in the forest increased. He was quite aware of that also, and then also he proceeded. But now what happened, he was so tired that he was not even able to take a single step. So at this moment he just lied down, and he heard some sound, that is the sound of the hammer stroke. So he felt somewhat happy. Hammer stroke means what? That is some sound means what? Yes, in the nearby area some people are there. So he just concentrated on that very particular sound, and he just walked in that direction, towards the direction where he heard the sound. And finally, after covering some distance, he reached the iron mill. So when he reached that iron mill, at that time it was a night hour, and moreover it was a Ramsjo iron mill. Ramsjo means that mill was one of the prosperous mill at that time, but presently it was closed down, and he just wanted to take shelter so that he can spend the night hours, and in the next morning he can go on his way. So as far as on that very particular day was that, as the man that is the owner of the Ramsjo iron mill, he was an ambitious man, and it was the month of December, that means what, Christmas was approaching. So he thought that means he can before the Christmas Eve, he can wind up all the business. So he was very busy, and during night hours also he used to come and inspect the farm. So on that day also they were waiting there just for the arrival of the pig iron. Pig iron, it means that the raw iron. So what they will do with the pig iron? So that raw iron is being melted, and later on with that means after melting it, it was being transformed into different small the different shapes and boats or vessels, whatever it is. So that's why he was continuous with his work. And secondly, the time when the rat trap seller entered, the scenario or the situation around that the Ramsjo iron mill was a bit disturbing. So one side, as the pig iron means, that is they used to burn the iron and all, the charcoal, so that the crackling, the sound, and sometimes the big bang of the charcoal sound that used to being heard. And outside the Ramsjo iron mill means one waterfall was there, and so from the waterfall also sounds were coming. So as a whole we can say that the environment was very disturbing. So that's why the rat trap seller, when he just opened the main gate, he was not being noticed by the people of that. So now he just walked, because his main aim was that it was the winter season, just to warm up himself just by the side of the forge, and the next morning he can go on his own way. And when he goes and lies down by the side of the forge, at that time, that is the blacksmith, he comes over there, and as the rat trap seller was lying down somewhat, he just covered his face with the cap, his big hat, and he was just having some small the rat traps which was being made of the wire, and in a shabby the appearance, he was lying over there, but he was being means not noticed, because it was the night hour, and the one and the only light that was visible was from the forge. When these means irons are being melted, some glow that used to come, so only that much was visible. So that's why they were not able to identify who this man. So they thought that it might be the worker who is taking some rest, and that's why means when the rat trap seller, when he just seek the permission, he just nodded his head. So that doesn't mean that the blacksmith, after identifying him, gave him the permission. He simply gave him because he thought that he might be one or the other person who is working over there. And later on, after some time, it so happened that the owner of the mill, he came over there, and when he just had the look at the rat trap seller, he mistook him to be one of his old acquaintance. So that's why now what he did, he just called him, or he thought him to be one of his old friend. So now students, on the slide or on the screen, now you can see that the iron master and his daughter Adela. So what does it mean? Both of them, what is their role in the story? So just now, as I told you, that is the iron master mistook him to be one of his old acquaintance or one of his the friend, who used to work in the army, and that's why he called him von Stahel. And later on, he just sympathized with him, and he thought that, he is so helpless, and by seeing his wretched condition, he just invited him to his house, and where they can enjoy the Christmas. But after time and again, when the iron master called him that, the rat trap seller, he did not agree to it, because the rat trap seller very well knew that he is not the man who the iron master thinks him. So that's why he just denied. He said that no, he is not willing to come to his house and all. But then also the iron master did not agree to that. So after some time, the iron master, he just went home, and within the few seconds, his daughter Edla Wilmanson, she arrived there. And why he sent his daughter Edla Wilmanson? Because he knew that his daughter, her convincing power is more when compared to him. So she with her one servant, she just went to the iron mill, and she just spoke to that man, and in such a loving and giving manner, that is the iron the rat trap seller, he was not able to deny her request. And finally, he just agreed to her. So now, he just proceeded to the iron master's house, but on the way, he just thought that something, some bad luck, that is going to hit him. But then also he did not mind, because he was flattened by the compassionate or and the friendly manner of Edla Wilmanson. So finally, now they reached their home. Now, what is the secret? On the screen you can see some points, that is the secret revealed. So what is the secret revealed? So when he went to their house, the very first day, the thing, that is the iron master did was that to get him ready, because he was in a very shabby condition. So he told his servants to give him a nice bath, and to shave him, and to give him good clothes and all. So he was, as a whole, we can say that he was well groomed, and he just told to his daughter that now the first thing is that they should think about his health condition, and after some time, yes, they may give him or try to find some job for him. So now, in a well groomed manner, when the rat trap seller, when he just came down, that time he notices that yes, he is totally a changed person. So now the iron master, the moment he sees him, so he gets very irritated, and he just shouts at him, and he just threatens him, and he says that now he will call the sheriff, the police and all. But as far as the rat trap seller is concerned, he did not react to it in the beginning. He just told him that as he was not the one who was willing to come to his house, and it is the iron master who invited him to the house. So that's why he says that he is ready to wear his old rags, and now he wants to leave the house. So the moment when the rat trap seller was just leaving, he just went to the threshold of the house. At that time, Edla, she just requests her father, and she intercedes between the rat trap seller and her father, and she tells her father that it is not fair on their part to drive a man away whom they have invited, and moreover she says that she would be very glad, in case if this man, the rat trap seller, celebrates Christmas with them. And moreover, she also reminds her father that it was he who promised this man to celebrate Christmas with them. So now she told her father that yes, let this man be here itself. And finally, towards the end, the rat trap seller, he turns a new leaf. So what is that, the new leaf, or how the change comes to him? So on that very particular day, it was a Christmas Eve, and this rat trap seller, after being identified as not his one of the friend, he was sitting in one place, and time and again he was given food, and he just slept without disturbing anyone. And in the next morning, what happened? It was the Christmas day. So early morning, Edla Wilmanson and her father, they just went to the church. So after the service or the prayer, he had come to know that on the way, just in front of the church, one man told him that, yes, one rat trap seller, he just robbed from the crofter's house, and he is somewhere here in this place. So when the iron master, that is Edla's father, when he heard this, the thing, he just got angry with his daughter and told her that this man, he might have, by the time he might have stolen all the silver spoons and left their house. So there are iron master and his daughter, means they came to their house and just inquired the servant about the rat trap seller. So the servant informed that the rat trap seller left the house. But before leaving, the servant informed that he has given or he has just left a Christmas present to Edla Wilmanson. So Edla, when she opened that Christmas present, and it was very roughly packed, from outside itself it was visible, inside small rat trap was there. So when she just took out the rat trap, and inside some 30 kroner note was there, and one small letter was written. So in that letter, he just, it was written that it is because of the Edla Wilmanson, who just raised the rat trap seller or a beggar to the position, a very high position, that is the position of the captain. So he just want to lead a life similar to that of that. So that's why now he feels very guilty for him that he had stolen the 30 kroner note, and in the letter it was clearly written that, yes, the crofter at the edge of the road and request Edla to return that money. So that's why, students, we can say that nobody, by birth, just I told you in the beginning, by birth, bad person. It is the circumstance makes, and later on little bit love and understanding change the person. So it is the love and the understanding of Edla Wilmanson which changed him to a good person. So finally on the screen you see that what we learn from this story, children, that is, life is one big rat trap. One get trapped by one's deeds, and everyone should get a second chance to improve oneself. So in this chapter we saw that the rat trap seller got a second chance, he was given shelter, and finally now he is a changed person. So that's all in today's chapter, students. Hope you might have understood. Go through the textbook once again. For any doubts you can call me. Thank you.